Nathan White. Right field, number 47, Gabe Kaufman. First base, number 34, Justin Miller. Center field, number 27, Ryan Stevens. Catcher, number 23, Cameron Smiley. Left field, number 30, Brandy Montero. Your pitcher, number 55, Harvey McLean. And now, we ask everyone to please rise and remove your hats as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem. Let's play some baseball!
All right, welcome to FNB Field. It's opening day. It's Paul Miller and Tom Davis here on the broadcast today, and we are very much looking forward to the Knights' home opener here at FNB Field. The Knights come in 1-5 thus far on the season. This is their first home game. They've had a little bit of a rough stretch here to start off the season, but nothing gets things right. Professor Davis quite like playing here at FNB Field in front of the home crowd.
Under some wonderful March sunshine, I have to agree.
Yeah, probably one of the earlier games that we've ever called here, bright and early 11 a.m. start here at FNB. Of course, if you're watching live and you can come down, there will be a second game getting ready to tip off here around 1 o'clock. So please come out and join us. And then when you're done, you can go down to the St. Patrick's Day Parade in downtown Harrisburg. So we are so honored to be here with you. Paul Miller and Tom Davis will be here with me today and for future games. And then we will have some other Nightly News All-Stars join us on the broadcast going forward. So hopefully you're in for a nice little afternoon of some good baseball. Of course, the Knights coming into this season with high hopes after a college record 16 victories last year. Definitely got off to a slow start here with 1-5. They had lost their first 4 contests. Did get a win against the Dundalk Lions a couple of weeks ago.
You'd like to see them build on that, especially now that we get to play some games here at home. I think it's really hard to beat playing your home games in a minor league stadium.
Absolutely. So, like I said, we will be with you in all of the home games this season. So we appreciate you checking us out, and we're going to be on the Nightly News YouTube channel throughout the season.
13, Braden McKnight.
Brings up McKnight here, number 13, playing Penn State Fayette.
And we are ready to go.
Fayette coming in to this contest 3-8. And the big strike from number 55, McLean.
Not wasting the time, getting right ahead, going after him.
Harvey McLean from Harrisburg, listed at third base and pitcher. Nice curve ball there.
One had a little bit of movement on it. I would dare call that a slider.
McLean has pitched in this young season thus far. 2 innings pitched, did allow 2 earned runs, but did strike out 3 across 2 innings.
Sends another one in there with some nasty backdoor action. Nice pitch.
Beautiful day here for opening day, and he mows down the first batter. Does McLean.
Just the old Uncle Charlie on the inside corner. Here, see if you can hit it. That's the luxury of pitching ahead in the count.
Now batting number 22, Andrew Disbach.
Honestly, for this early in the year, probably about as nice of a day as you could ask for.
Agreed. There's the first look at the curveball.
Very, very close pitch there, but takes.
Just a bit inside, I would wager. Let's see if he tries to go for that spot again. He does.
And he's just inside. Quick to 2-0 with 2 very close pitches.
Now, I'd expect him to try a fastball in the outer half here.
High and tight again.
Fastball. Wasn't the worst pitch call. It was just didn't quite execute it the way he wanted to. Let's see what he's got here. Barry came back with the fastball on the outside.
The defense here behind McLean should sound familiar. You have Boyer at third, you have newcomer Wise at short, and Zell at second. So 3 really good defenders behind McLean today with Miller on first.
Looks like another slider. I might have to use the word slurve today to describe that. It seems like he definitely has 2 different pitch speeds on that breaking stuff.
Paul Miller and Tom Davis here at FNB Field. The Knights in their home opener take on Penn State Fayette. And you were doing we like to give geography lessons here. So you were talking a little bit about where Penn State Fayette is coming from, if you want to share that with us.
Yeah, my friend Google tells me that it's in a place known as Lamont Furnace, Pennsylvania, which I first assumed was a furnace company. So I had to do a little more geographical research on Google Maps.
Back to Zell, shot for a double play here, and Wise makes it happen. And the double play gets the Knights out of an early walk, and that will retire the side. Gosh, that was very exciting. Great way to start this first inning for the Knights, and McLean gets out of that inning unscathed. Well, Central Penn fans, rest easy knowing the experts at Select Physical Therapy are on the sidelines ready to help you and your team in times of need. With convenient locations nearby, getting back in the action is close to home. Go to selectphysicaltherapy.com to find a location near you and start your journey to recovery. Go Knights! Great thing about Select is they are actually our trainers. So we've gotten some wonderful trainers in for our athletes, and we've our newly expanded focus on athletics here. We're going to be adding some new teams, including track and cross country, and next year softball.
Wonderful.
So we are definitely looking forward to some new sports teams here at Central Penn College. Paul Miller, Tom Davis back here with you. Quick first inning there. Can't quite call it a 1-2-3 because it wasn't quite a 1-2-3, but a double play. And that looked like that got Zell off the first pitch.
So an immediate base runner for Fayette to contend with in this inning.
And Owen Zell is one of our speediest players, so definitely the guy we want on base.
Here comes the big man, Mr. Hoover.
Hoover steps in, one of the veteran players on the team. Hoover this year in a couple of contests, 2 for 7 and a steal.
And the southpaw fell behind to him here. Let's see if he can get a good pitch to drive.
Hoover 3 for 10 on the season with 5 walks. So, Zell's caught. He stopped about halfway. I'm not exactly sure.
He did the right thing by drawing the throw when he did.
I mean, that was an exciting play there, considering the fact that he really didn't go anywhere and there was no out.
He held his ground and he made the catcher throw the ball. As soon as the catcher threw the ball, he broke for first base.
I guess my question is, why did he stop halfway down?
I don't know. Either he thought the hit and run was on, or the hit and run was on, but it wasn't a hittable pitch.
We'll have to question Zell about that later. And he does the same thing
Yep.
again.
And it definitely looked like Hoover was trying to go to right center with that swing. He let the ball travel deep, just couldn't quite slap it right.
Don't you at least have to offer at a pitch like that when it's a hit and run, though?
Yes. He did. He just couldn't catch up to it.
And Zell's already got in the mind of the Penn State Fayette pitcher here.
Fortunately for him, he doesn't have to deal with disengagements from the mound.
That's coming straight back.
As the USCA, as far as I know, is not operating on any pitch clock rules or any of the new rules package that MLB will be ushering in this year.
Zell goes this time, and
He's
he's
got it
in there
still.
safely.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the designed play really was. If it was a straight steal attempt, if it was supposed to be a hit and run.
Zell, that's his second steal on the season.
Now he's in scoring position with a full count to the very dangerous Hoover.
Straight back, just gets a piece.
Hoover looking to do big damage on that swing.
On the mound for Fayette, Gaynor, Jonathan Gaynor from Miami Beach, Florida. How did he end up in Penn State Fayette is probably a question that we would need to ask him at some point. Unfortunately, no annual yearly stats for Penn State Fayette on their website. So any stats we do refer to from Fayette are from last season. They have played 11 contests, but again, on their website, there was no statistics. So I'm going to do my best to try to give you some context from how they did last year. But of course, as we said, Gaynor not on the team last season.
Don't look now, but Knights have 2 runners on with nobody out.
And one of their best hitters up to bat, Zach Boyer, already having a decent season. Again, also with 5 walks. I mean, very impressive. He's 2 for 7, scored a run, 5 walks, and a steal, hitting .286.
Let's see what his strategy is here against the lefty. They've got him played shallow in left field.
That looked good, but just foul. Boyer, 3 RBIs in the Knights' first victory at Dundalk last March 12th. And that proved to be the difference in a 5-4 game. First and second for the Knights. Just foul again.
So the infield is definitely shading towards Boyer's tendencies. It seems like he's predominantly a pull hitter. I could be wrong. Just going by my memory from last season.
I wouldn't even call that chin music. That's over the head.
That was back of the head music.
1 ball, 2 strikes, first and second, nobody out. The Knights already threatening. And that's high. On deck, Wise has already made major contributions here on the season, including 3 RBI at the 8-4 loss to Dundalk in the first game of that double header that happened on March 12th. That was the last time the Knights played. And there's Boyer deep. And while that's going to be caught, it looks like, that should be enough to get Zell to third. And it is.
Very well struck ball. But they did have him played correctly
Now
for that.
batting number 18, Nathan Wise.
Now, Nathan Wise is going to be interesting. You come into a program with an established lineup, and you crack opening day with, as a freshman, the starting shortstop and cleanup hitter.
Very impressive.
So that's going to say a lot about Wise here. And again, 3 RBI in that game against Dundalk.
And he doesn't even need a hit to score a run here.
Let's get a good look at Wise here for the first time. And he's first pitch swinging, and that's going to get a run in. And he legs it out.
Infield single and an RBI. And the Knights take an early lead.
1-0
Now batting
Knights.
number 47, Gabe Kaufman.
Talking to Dalton Kohler, the last season's Cy Young Award winner and opening day starter for us earlier this season. And he said that the biggest struggle that the Knights have been having was with situational hitting. I'm pretty sure that it's fair to say that their situational hitting in these last 2 at-bats has been wonderful early on here.
I would agree. They have the chance at a very big inning here if they can keep the lineup moving here.
Knights 1, Fayette 0, and first and second, only 1 out.
Nice looking curveball from the southpaw there, but it must have just missed on the outside or went around the plate. It's tough to tell from here.
Gainer, again, Miami Beach, Florida. The freshman for Fayette. And that's going through the gap. And Hoover is getting waved by Coach Stern. And there will be a play at the plate. But the ball is cut off. And the single. What a shot there. The single drives in a run as the Knights take a 2-0 lead.
Yeah, just took that fastball and spanked it right back to right center field up the middle. For another run, and still only 1 man down. Runners at the corners.
Heads up base running 2. Wise gets to third. And the hit and run's on there.
This ball might find some ground.
And it does fall.
Amazing catch by the
Wow.
center fielder.
Sorry, the sun was in my eyes there. It looked like he dropped it, but did catch it, but the run scores anyway on the sacrifice.
Now batting number 27,
So Wise picks up an RBI.
Ryan Stevens. Over the first 4 games, only 1 for 12.
So he's due in this at-bat. Squares to bunt. Catcher can't maintain control, and that gives the Knights second base.
Stevens is 2 for 17 so far on the season.
All he needs is a single here, and he can add to his RBI total. Runner at second will be off on contact.
Kaufman, the runner at second, the freshman. He's first pitch swinging, so we really didn't have a chance to talk about him, so I apologize. Stevens, again, with this sun, this is a really tough catch, but does make the catch, does Penn State Fayette. But that's not before the Knights manage 3 runs here in the bottom of the first inning. And we're going to go to the top of the second with a 3-0 score.
The CPC film series returns for the spring term on Friday, May 19th, as Nightly News Hall of Famer Brian Christiana presents the film V for Vendetta. The Student Government Association will be sponsoring the event, with popcorn, drinks, and movie-themed snacks available for donations to support the club. Put May 19th on your calendar now and make plans to come out to this free event.
Nightly News Hall of Famer Brian Christiana. It's always awesome that we get to have the CPC film series. And of course, Tom, you have been, you've done 2 different CPC film series events. Tell me a little bit more about what that kind of meant to you to get to do something like that.
Well, it's kind of nice to do something that's, I would say, quasi-academic, right? It's a nice talk. It's a nice look at a film that has maybe had a particular impact on the public, without necessarily making it too overly academic, so that only the people who've done scholarship in the area would benefit from coming. So it's a really great way to kind of find a middle ground between scholarship and just really film appreciation, and bringing that sort of thing to a wider array of students and community members.
I think what's really interesting about all of this, Tom, is that we have seen some pretty significant growth over the past couple of terms in terms of the amount of people that have actually come out to the event. And in fact, over our last 2, we have had such amazing attendance, setting records. McLean, the outside pitch there. Got through a relatively clean first inning here. Again, if you're nearby, come on out. It's a beautiful day. And that's going to be trouble down the line, but just foul.
Looks like he really opened up on that one. It's always exciting to see our students come back and do stuff at the film series as well.
Absolutely. Dylan Bowman had a great opportunity here recently when he did 1917, which was an amazing film. I really enjoyed that. We're going to get the call there. Stepping in here, Cade Warwick, the senior from Mule Run, PA. We'll have to get Brian Christian on the lifeline to find out where that might be. And we do have some stats for Warwick from last year. Warwick hit .375 with 3 home runs and 27 runs batted in last season. 33 for 88, scored 20 runs, only struck out 14 times.
We would say that's pretty good bat-to-ball skills.
And a curveball, that's going to be trouble.
It's going to be in foul.
Well, he does catch it in fair territory out there and left. And a big first out for McLean.
Now batting, number 10, Ethan Rendeling.
Yeah, and if that would have gotten the wind, too. I mean, it's kind of a short porch down there with all these cheap seats.
McLean digs in.
Another first pitch strike.
Rendulic, the DH today from Port View, Pennsylvania.
At some point today, someone will be from a place we've heard of.
I mean, I've heard of Uniontown.
I have heard of Union.
I've also heard of Miami Beach, Florida. Of course, one of these gentlemen is from Plum. Just gets through. Miller tried to make the diving stop, but couldn't quite get there.
Now batting, number 11, John
Pretty
Burns.
effective pitch. He got the ground ball he needed, but just in the wrong spot. It required a dive. And
Josh Burns, the infielder from Uniontown, Pennsylvania. Last year, Burns hit .393, 2 home runs, 23 RBIs, 14 walks, 9 doubles as a sophomore, this year a junior. A little upstairs from McLean there, but certainly impressed thus far with McLean's arsenal. I mean, he's definitely got a 3-4 pitch mix, depending on if he's going to throw in a changeup here. but definitely has got two different breaking pitches, Tom, to your earlier point. Runner goes. And Zell can't quite apply the tag there. And that'll go down as a steal.
It's tough to tell if the ball beat him there or not. But a moot point. 2-0 count now. You really don't want to put another runner on with one out in the inning, so see if we can bear down and get this hitter out.
This is also the first time that we were seeing Cameron Smiley, the catcher, the freshman from New Bloomfield,
New
Pennsylvania.
Bloomfield I have heard of as well.
We are aware of New Bloomfield. Beautiful Saturday afternoon for opening day. I mean, Tom, when you think about opening day, this is, I mean, maybe a little chilly, but when you think about opening day, this is exactly what you can imagine. Sun out, beautiful blue sky that you see in the background.
Absolutely.
Just a pleasure to be here with you.
Seeing blue sky and sun is pleasant. After a long winter, admittedly a mild winter in terms of snowfall, but
not so much in March, certainly in February. It's in fact, I believe
the cold weather for sure.
I believe February was probably warmer than March was this year.
You would probably be correct.
And here's where we really find out what McLean has, because when you've got runners on base and only one out, again, he did get a double play in the first.
And he's fallen behind on the hitter 1-0.
Runners bluff. And again, what I'm seeing from the ump today is east and west is tight, but north and south is wide.
Yeah, it looks like east and west have been a little inconsistent. Although, again, it's tough to tell from this vantage point. That last one might have just broke a little too much at the end.
And the pitch. That's going to be in there for a strike.
That one was easy to see from here. Fastball inside corner.
It's like number 2, Ayanu, at the plate. He is from Plum, Pennsylvania. I know right around where that is. Right off of 79, north of Pittsburgh.
It was that nasty breaking ball again. Again, a little bit of velocity taken off of that. We might just have to call it a slurve.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely got two clear different types of pitches, but they have similar break, except that one looked to be, again, more north and south break, as opposed to east to west, as you'd see with the slider.
Seems to have a...
And the foul tip strikes him out, and Ayanu down on strikes.
Big strikeout in the inning.
Now batting number 15, Kyle Ridley.
Now he can kind of forget about those runners and just go after the hitter here, knowing that he has a force all across the infield.
Ridley steps up to the plate from Dunbar, Pennsylvania. This is his 5th season. Probably one of the older players that we'd see. Ridley last year as a senior, listed last year, but I believe he got some extra eligibility because of the COVID season. 293 with 12 RBI. No home runs, but certainly a good bottom of the order hitter. And the runners go, and Ridley.
This is the luxury of pitching ahead.
Flies out to center.
Easy can of corn to center field.
Don't forget, the CPC Health Center is open every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. in Super Suite 127. And the best thing, no appointment is needed. Just stop by anytime the health center is operating. They can evaluate and assess minor illnesses and even provide free basic healthcare products and referrals to off-site specialists and providers. And Paul Miller and Tom Davis back here with you at FNB Field. Knights in the bottom of the second lead 3-0 and have definitely looked impressive so far. McLean, 2 clean innings. Did have some base runners last time, but Tom, I got to tell you, to your point, the way that he pitches ahead in the count has really benefited him so far.
Yes.
Whereas the sort of the opposite could be said here for Penn State Fayette's pitcher on the mound.
Yeah, Smiley's ahead 3-0 in the count now. I expect him to be taking all the way here.
Gaynor, Jonathan Gaynor on the mound. And 4 straight balls to walk Smiley.
Now batting, number 30, Jafrandi Montero.
And what's really interesting with Montero here batting at the bottom of the order, it's almost like 2 leadoff hitters back to back.
Yeah.
Montero, with his speed and ability to get on base, has actually been extremely successful batting in the 9-hole, only to come right back up for Zell and Hoover. Almost had Smiley leaning there. Montero on the season, not really many bats to this point. Montero's got first base, a runner on first base. And the Knights looking to add on to their 3-run lead. And Montero scores to bunt. Smiley.
Smart decision to pull that bat back. That was just the right sort of pitch to bunt directly into the ground, right back to the pitcher.
Oh, he got Smiley leaning there. And that was exactly the same thing that happened just the last time he threw over.
This time he got him.
The pickoff. If you had pickoff on your bingo card, go ahead and mark that one down because that's not something you see every day.
Lefties have it so great when it comes to that pickoff move.
Every time I think of a good pickoff move, obviously Randy Johnson had a great pickoff move from a lefty. But Greg Maddux, among all the other things that Maddux was great at, he had one of the best snap throws to first that I can ever remember.
Especially as a right-hander.
Former Cub. And of course, didn't have any glory days with the Cubs, only with Atlanta.
Of course.
And Gaynor right down Broadway.
Kind of like Sammy Sosa, the famous Baltimore Oriole.
You forget he played in Baltimore.
Along with Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Jim Thome. Or not Vlad Jr., Vladimir Guerrero. All of whom finished their careers with the Orioles.
And that will walk Montero. And that'll come right back up to the top of the order for Zell.
Now batting, number 11, Owen Zell.
Zell hit by a pitch earlier. Had a interesting base running there in the first, but did manage to both times get back to first.
This interesting strategy by Penn State, trying to keep the runner close at first again. I mean, I know the speed is a threat there, but
what's great about having that person at first, especially for Zell being a lefty, is that huge gap over there between first and where number 33 is playing at second.
precisely, although it looks like Zell just squared the bunt. Not sure what strategy is in play here. That one
right
worked.
back up the box and hits off second base. And that carom is going to send that ball into short left field.
No one covering second base allows him to stretch that into a double. Heads up baseball. You rarely see a ball
Now
hit
batting,
directly at the base like
number
that.
33,
I don't know that I've ever
Adam
seen something like that.
Hoover.
And certainly it's rare if it does. But, I mean, that was such a positive break because all of the momentum was coming toward first base. And as soon as it hit off second, it basically went over and caromed over their head.
Yeah, they may not have had the out at first, but there's a chance that they could have kept that ball in the infield.
And Hoover's now got 2 runners in scoring position here. And a great opportunity for some RBI. Last game at Dundalk, Hoover had a few walks, scored a run in the second game, and a hit in the first. So has played well so far. Actually, Hoover was our Shohei Ohtani Award winner last year as both a prolific batter and pitcher. So we'll have to see this season to what extent Hoover is back on the mound. But I'm sure he's certainly one of the people that Coach Stern is going to look to fill some innings. And he's offering that. That's going to be out of play.
Waited back on that and tried to kick it to right field. Try to get those 2 runners in. Man, with his power, the outfielders are all playing him very deep, so...
Doesn't appear that Hoover has pitched at all this year. And that's going to go right to short, but should get a run home. And Zell, a wide turnaround third.
Productive RBI ground out, which also moves the runner to third base with less than 2 outs, meaning the Knights can push across another run without the benefit of a hit.
Now batting number 14, Zach Boyer.
And Boyer, with the sac fly earlier, advancing a runner from second to third.
He'd gladly take another here.
And that one was high.
A little bit of 2-seam action there.
And Boyer sends it to right. Got a lot on it, but unfortunately that will be caught and will retire the side.
And I misspoke and misread the scoreboard, thinking there was only 1 out.
And that makes it 4-0 Knights after Montero got pushed across there earlier in the inning. All right. We will go to the top of the third. Knights lead.
Attention baseball fans! Any foul balls redeemed and exchanged in the concession stand can be redeemed for a free item.
It's hard to study when you're hungry. The college pantry can help. Central Penn College and your Student Government Association are committed to ensuring that all of our CPC Knights have access to food when they need it. Requests are kept anonymous and can be submitted online. Look for the link under the links section of the Student Central or contact Lindsay Garber, Director of Housing and Residence Life, at lindsay.garber@centralpenn.edu.
Paul Miller and Tom Davis here for the Nightly News Media Club, broadcasting all of your home basketball, men's and women's, and baseball contests in this season. So we did every basketball game this year, Tom, and very, very successful. Of course, 2 of our most prolific club members are on the baseball team, Dalton Kohler and Kevon Davis. But they did a wonderful job helping with production this year with Knights basketball, and the Lady Knights made their first tournament, taking a double overtime loss, unfortunately, in their first ever tournament game. But I was following that game. I was doing a podcast, and I had the live stats on, and I was just seeing, they were trailing much of the first half, so for them to even battle back to get to overtime, but they just ran out of steam.
It was a heck of an effort, a valiant effort.
And
He has got that breaking ball dancing nicely. He's just getting the corners. particularly righty on righty to that outside corner.
McLean has been very impressive in this
Here comes another one.
home opener here. Just a bit outside there.
Looks like we got a full count.
Struck him out.
Threw him the old number 1 down in the zone.
Now batting, number 13, Braden McKnight.
McKnight struck out in the first at bat of the game. And McKnight from Uniontown, Pennsylvania, as is Burns. Burns the third year, whereas McKnight is a freshman. Uniontown, Pennsylvania. Much of this coming from Western PA. Fayette will actually be going out to Christendom tomorrow evening. So they're coming on an East Coast swing, as I suppose you would say.
See, that breaking ball there had a lot more steam on it.
Outside.
It's like he's trying to throw him a backdoor slider of some kind here.
Come on out to FNB Field. Of course, our next contest here at FNB will be next Wednesday afternoon. I'll be here with Steve Hassinger from Career Services, but also a major baseball aficionado. So interesting to see how Steve does on the broadcast.
Yes.
Now batting,
I'm
number
sure he'll
22.
do a wonderful job.
Smashing.
If he's half as good as he is at this as he is on the golf course, he'll do great.
Coming out to the mound here, Sean Grady is the assistant coach under Coach Stern for the Knights. So interesting to see what Grady brings to the table.
Not going to see a move here.
Now batting,
Buying
number
some time,
22,
perhaps.
Andrew Scott.
I do see a little bit of stirring in the Knights bullpen now, however. Somebody is beginning the process of stretching and tossing. I can't read any numbers from here.
You know, it was very interesting, Tom. You know who else has been helping the Knights this year but former Major Leaguer Steve Jeltz. Going to second. Good throw by Smiley, and he gets him.
Great play.
Yeah, back to my earlier comment, we had Steve Jeltz, former Philadelphia Philly, over at Central Penn College here this week. And afterward, I had the chance to speak with Mr. Jeltz, and I talked to him a bit about Knights. And apparently him and Coach Stern are very good friends, and he's come out to some practices.
Interesting.
Do you remember Steve Jeltz from in the 80s?
I do not.
He was on the team
I
with...
do know, however, that he was on the 83 Phillies that lost to the Baltimore Orioles.
He was, and he actually talked about that, and he gave the Orioles their due credit because he was saying how hard they fought to get to there, and then the Orioles just, as he said, quote, smacked them around.
Yep, the Phillies won the first game, and one of their players famously went on air and said, "That's one, baby," and they didn't win another.
But yes, Jeltz was on that team with Carlton, Pete Rose, Mike Schmidt. I mean, talk about a loaded lineup on that Phillies squad.
Definitely
Now
a heck of a
batting,
team.
number 16,
I mean,
Sawyer
right there off the top
Andrea.
3 Hall of Famers.
And on the flip side of the ball, the 1983 Orioles had a young man, Cal Ripken Jr. at shortstop, who'd won the Rookie of the Year the previous year and was the AL MVP in 1983.
Speaking of that, he actually mentioned that his last professional contract was with the Orioles, and that the steal, he's going for the steal, poor throw from Smiley, and hopefully Zell's okay there.
It was definitely the right pitch to run on as well. It was a slow breaking ball outside.
But what I was saying was, so Jeltz signed, and of course Jeltz played shortstop for the Orioles, and he actually retired from the game because when the Orioles brought him in, they said that he was basically insurance for Cal Ripken. Well, as we all know, the Cal Ripken never missed a game.
Missed a day. Yep.
So Jeltz said, I'm not going to wait around for Cal Ripken to get hurt, and it's probably a good thing he did because he never would have made it.
Very true. Interesting. That's
So
interesting.
Steve Jeltz also helping out the Knights this season. So I'm interested. I'm going to talk to some of the players about, especially Wise at short, about what impact, working with Steve has had on him. And hopefully we get to have him on a future podcast or future broadcast and talk to him a bit more about that. Little low there.
Still 4-0 Knights.
Paul Miller and Tom Davis here, and the pitch high and tight. Sawyer DeAndrea, second-year catcher from Bethel Park.
I do believe it has warmed up a little bit here, too.
Absolutely.
So come on out for the second game. It should be perfect.
Says 41 on the scoreboard, but I believe it's, especially in the sun, it's a bit warmer than that.
Yeah, I don't believe that scoreboard right now.
Can McLean keep it going? He's got a runner at second, and that is out of play. Knights do come into this game 1-5, and again, I talked to Dalton Kohler yesterday, and he was really just talking about the situational hitting here and some of the defense, and really just he made a comment about walking guys, and that's a passed ball there on Smiley, which will allow the runner to get to third base with one out.
It'd be interesting whether that would be ruled a wild pitch or a pass ball. So I do believe that ball caught the dirt before it got to the catcher. Again, don't know who the official scorer is.
Looks like that's going to do it for McLean, which is really too bad because he only made it through 2 2/3.
Overall, he pitched pretty well. Just got into a few situations here. Kept them off the scoreboard. Now we'll see if the Knights can hold on to this lead. 2 outs in the inning.
Decluttering your closet? You can give it back to the community and Central Penn College students by dropping your unwanted items in the community aid bin located near campus. Community Aid provides a financial donation to Central Penn College Education Foundation in support of student scholarships every time the organization empties our bin. And also, for any of you students out there, if you need any free professional clothing, you can always reach out to Steve Hassinger at centralpenn.edu and make an appointment for the Career Closet, which is basically new and gently used clothing that has been donated from our community partners, faculty and staff. So I just had a situation this week.
Now pitching for the Central Penn Knights, number 19, Xavier Hernandez.
Just had a situation here earlier this week where we had presentations, and I had a couple of students say that they didn't have a whole lot of professional clothing. So I referred them over to Steve, and he took them down to the Career Closet and got them all set up.
It's a wonderful service that he offers in the Career Services Center.
Xavier Hernandez, the junior.
What does that haircut remind you of on Xavier?
Well, I'm bald, so I don't really...
That reminds me of another pitcher.
I'm not much of a comment... I don't comment a whole lot on hair, personally.
Yeah, it looks like a...
DeGrom, maybe?
Maybe DeGrom. I'm thinking old school. It looks more like an old school pitcher's haircut. I just can't figure out who it reminds me of. Oscar... what's the last name I'm looking for? Sorry, everybody.
So Hernandez actually started the first contest and got the victory, game 2 against Dundalk last week, pitching 6 innings, only allowing 3 runs and 7 strikeouts. So he has had a very interesting first couple of games here, pitched very well, seems to be one of our better pitchers at this point.
Looks like he's bringing some velocity, for sure.
So one of the things when I was talking to Kohler earlier this week was that they're really trying to work on what we call a piggyback, where they're bringing in a starter to get 2-3 innings, and again, if they're pitching well, keeping them in the game, but then having sort of an already scheduled reliever to come in as part of the pitching rotation.
Similar to like the opener concept almost.
Yes.
But more like almost like the approach you'd see in spring training, where you
Yes.
have a starter come in for 2 innings, another starter come in for 2 or 3 innings.
But Hernandez in here to try to put out a little fire with first and third, but 2 down. So really almost, double play is in order here as well. But quickly 2 balls from Hernandez. That catches the inside corner.
2 outs in the inning, so he'll take a force at second. Strikeout, you name it. I'd like to see Xavier rear back and throw him something a little extra here. Like that.
Right down the pike, but Wise is calling for it. That's the center fielder's ball, I believe, but I guess either way, no harm, no foul.
No harm, no foul.
And that will retire the side. Even though the Knights allowed a few base runners, none of them crossed home plate. And after going to the bottom of the third, the Knights lead 4-0. Central Penn College is now partnering with Handshake, our new career management platform, to help students and alumni discover new career paths and find amazing jobs and internships. We understand students can be busy, so Career Services has pre-populated basic information on your profile for you. Simply click on the Handshake tiles on mycentralpenn.edu and download the Handshake app to your phone for quick access. Alumni and employers contact Career Services at centralpenn.edu to find out how you can join us for free on Handshake. All right, we're going to go here to the bottom of the third inning. Y is up to bat again. Single and an RBI in the first. I'm glad to see Wise. I've been really looking forward. I've heard a lot of great things about Wise. Sun goes behind one of those clouds there. Big strike.
A little bit of pepper on that pitch. Fastball on the outer edge.
Big strike from Gaynor there, the 1-1. Let's take a little look at the schedule, shall we? Today, the 11 o'clock and 1 o'clock games against Penn State Fayette. They'll travel to Albright College on Tuesday. And then they will head next Wednesday back here to FNB for 2 games against the College of Southern Maryland before going to Christendom for a back-to-back, a doubleheader and then a 3rd game the following day, then to Garrett College until we come back home here for Williamson Trade.
Little blooper hit in the right field. Right fielder camps under it.
So for March games, be sure to mark down,
Now batting,
not only today,
47, Gabe Kaufman.
but next Wednesday, the 22nd, followed by the following Friday, the 31st. All games are free here at FNB Field. Something definitely to mark on your calendar, Friday, April 21st will be our community night here. Last year, we had over 500 attendees. Certainly a couple of hundred here today. It's a very, very good crowd here for a Saturday and really morning game. Couple of morning games around the MLB annually. You typically have Patriots Day for the Red Sox They play 11 o'clock, as well as July 4th in D.C. The Nats play at 11. I actually got to go to one of those 11 a.m. games one time.
I was at one of those as well. I was at a 12 o'clock game, 2014 ALDS. So I was going to say, in the postseason, in the early rounds, you get a handful of morning games here and there sometimes too.
Wise the first out. Kaufman.
3-1 count.
Kaufman's gotten off to a slow start this season. Also hoping to see Nightly News Kevon Davis in the lineup here for Game 2.
Umpire really does seem to be giving the low strike today.
Brings the count full. Kaufman needs to protect the plate. And the pitch. That's going to be low and inside. And that will walk.
So with one out,
Now
Knights have a runner on.
For Justin Miller.
Bring up big Justin Miller on the left side of the plate.
Gets the signs from Coach Rob Stern, who also did finish second in our soup cook-off for his beef vegetable soup, which I managed to get some of. Coach Stern is a marvelous chef, has made barbecue before, and some of the best barbecue I've ever had. So
Pulled barbecue, right? Pulled
yeah.
pork.
Yep, did it as a fundraiser for the baseball team, but apparently also he'll just randomly come to campus and drop off food for the players.
Wow. So they tried to sneak a last-second bunt in there. Had the right idea to get it up the left third base line. Just went foul.
Remember, these doubleheaders are 7-inning contests. So we're heading to the bottom of the third. We're in the bottom of the third right now. So we're about halfway through the game. So just be aware of that as we go. And then there'll probably be about a 20-minute break between contests. So we will pause and be back with you before the second game gets started.
I always felt it was dangerous and iffy and just strange bunting with an aluminum bat. Just seems harder to me to deaden the ball with aluminum.
So that ball looked like it got away from the catcher, ended up coming up and hitting Miller in the face.
And there was no call for interference on the batter, though the catcher was certainly looking for that call.
I mean, what's he supposed to do there, though? I mean, he tried to get out of the way. I mean, that's not really his fault that the catcher didn't come up with the ball. And Gaynor struggling to get through this inning, but nice pitch there. Foul tip and caught for a strikeout. Miller with the strikeout.
7, Ryan Stevens.
4-0. And
Daylight play, but
I don't think the second baseman was on the same page.
I don't think so.
I guess he's lucky that he just didn't fire the ball because it would have been into center field. So honored to be here with you, Paul Miller and Tom Davis for the Nightly News. We will be here at every home contest this season. Checked off our first goal of the year, is doing all the basketball games, which we did all of those.
A
All the home games.
fantastic job that was done.
Tyler Coleman, Brian Christiana joined us on the broadcasts. And a slow roller to second that should retire the side. The Knights did threaten, but didn't get anybody across, and we're going to go to the top of the fourth inning with the Knights leading 4-0.
Congratulations to Nicholas
Top of the
Dunlap.
fourth inning, the Central Penn Knights are now leading 4-0 over Penn State Fayette.
Congratulations to Nicholas Dunlap, who recently received the prestigious Penn Ace Student of the Year Award for his outstanding work as a marketing intern at Camp Hebron in Halifax. Nick completed his internship in the summer of 22 and graduated with his Bachelor of Science degree in Business Administration in December of 2022. He is currently employed as the Territory Marketing and Sales Manager for Elmar Holdings. Nick is just one more example of Central Penn students and alumni who continue to excel in their careers.
Welcome back to FNB Field. Paul Miller, Tom Davis here for the Nightly News. We're in the top of the fourth inning as the Knights lead 4-0 over Penn State Fayette. Of course, we will be here for a second contest this afternoon at around 1 o'clock, though I would say probably a little closer to 1:30 if I had to take a guess. Knights coming into this game 1-5, but do have, over the next week and a half, 6 home games. And then we'll be here for a total of 6 dates, as well as a date at In the Net. But this is the first of 6 dates, so with a doubleheader each day, so we'll have 12 games here at FNB Field. Right back up the box. Hernandez can't quite get there. Great play by Wise, but Miller can't get the scoop, and he's going to go to second. And he's got him. And he got him safe. I thought for sure he was out, and so did Wise.
I think everybody in the stadium thought he was.
First of all, let's break down that play for a minute, Tom. First of all, I'm not really sure why he went to second. He was dead to rights, and I guess ultimately he made it to second, so all's well that ends well, but that was not a good play trailing by 4 runs.
Yeah, I'm not sure how he was safe either. If he missed the tag.
And again, we do sit behind home plate, so we weren't out there. However, it looked like from here he was out by a mile.
And we don't have the benefit of replay either.
And that is crushed to center, but and Stevens, oh no! It gets over his head. He's being waved home. There's going to be a play at the plate, but Wise sailed that ball. And now, with all of that being said, a run in and 3 bases for Fayette.
It looks like they're timing Xavier Hernandez's fastball pretty well right now. I'd like to see him work in some of his other stuff, but maybe he's not feeling the command right now.
Now batting number 2.
Not sure if the wind or the sun impacted our center fielder on that one.
It is windy out there. You can see the flags out in center field. Call a balk.
Just called for a balk. Even though the runner was not being held at third.
Hernandez wants to know what he did wrong.
The umpire said he needs to announce if he's going to go to the windup, which he did with the runner on base. I don't know. It seems rather nitpicky of the umpire, if you ask me. But
2 quick runs in, still nobody out here for Fayette. And what looked like early, the Knights would be cruising, has now become a contest. Stevens in center just let that ball get over his head. And again, the sun and the wind, I certainly don't blame Stevens, but that was a big play. And again, Hernandez just throwing heat.
Featuring a steady diet of fastballs. Another throw in the dirt. First baseman is unable to scoop it.
So that's let's
Should be
just-
an error on the third baseman.
Yeah, and that's to this inning that Boyer has struggled to get across the diamond to Miller. Now, should Miller be able to pick those? Okay, yeah. I mean, that's part of being a first baseman, is being able to pick some of those tough throws out of the dirt. But at the same time, that was a routine play. Boyer, it's not like he was off balance. He should have made that throw. And that's a throw Boyer's made 1,000 times. But those errors are really costing the Knights at this point.
That decision's almost made the same way as like a wild pitch and a pass ball, too.
Knights lead 4-2 here in the top of the fourth. From FNB Field, home of the Harrisburg Senators, just foul.
Just foul.
Looking forward to a great season with the Senators. We'll have to look up some Bowie games, Tom being a Oriole fan. See if some of the, maybe Jackson Holiday starts the season off in Double-A.
And don't forget that at some point in the midsummer, John Means will be rehabbing before he gets back to
Very
the bigs.
true. Have you ever been to the Bowie Stadium?
I have not.
Something we might have to take a look at. The shot to center hits the gap. Not sure why he threw it to third there. If he would have just went into second, that could have saved an extra base.
Especially with no outs in the inning.
So this is started to unravel quickly.
Now batting, number 33,
Penn State with 2 runners in scoring position. Nobody out in the inning.
And here comes the coach. Hernandez has not gotten anybody out to this point, and
It's like this is just going to be a meeting on the mound, though, as I don't... Oh,
there are people getting loose. So Hernandez has got to figure out how to get somebody out here. And honestly, like to your earlier point, though, Tom, him throwing basically nothing but fastballs.
Nothing but fastballs.
I mean, it's easy to sit fastball when you can't mix in a secondary pitch.
right.
But Hernandez will remain. Fayette chatting down at third base.
Pivotal moment in the game here. Base hit for Fayette will tie the score.
Fortunately, number 33 not on Fayette's roster, so I can't give you a name on that. And there was no 33 last season either, so unfortunately I have little to go with here. He offered at that pitch. Now we've got him caught at third. And he's got him at home. Although I don't ever want to speak too soon after what we've seen.
Right?
Great play there by Hernandez
Very
and Boyer.
Heads up on Fayette for the runner moving to third. But the Knights will gladly take the out.
Well, I think the problem was because that runner was already there. The runner on third had nowhere else to go but home.
Exactly. Which is how you're supposed to do it. When you get caught up like that, give up the out and let the trail runner advance.
And 2 down now for the Knights. Can Hernandez get out of this inning?
That looked like the fastball again.
Smiley didn't necessarily keep that in front of him, but he kept it close enough that the runner couldn't advance from third. Like what I'm seeing out of Smiley here. Did let one get by him earlier, but played good defense otherwise. And that crushed to center. And Stevens
Drops the ball. He had it in his glove for a moment.
Boy, that's a tough way for this inning to continue as Fayette inches closer.
Yeah, it looks like he had it in the glove. It just didn't secure. Unfortunate. But that will make it a 1-run ball game.
Now batting, number 13, Braden McKnight.
McKnight struck out and then walked and was thrown out at second base by Smiley. Big strike on the outside. That's one of the first times we've seen that outside corner get called today.
Yes, to the lefties.
And there's an off-speed pitch that we were looking for.
That one had a little bit of movement on it.
Can Hernandez get out of this inning unscathed otherwise?
Working quickly that at bat through another breaking ball with a lot of movement on it.
Very impressive, even though he did give up the 3 runs. A lot of that was defense. 2 errors essentially by Boyer and 2 also by Stevens. Really kind of hurt the Knights that inning. But nonetheless, the Knights still have a 4-3 lead. Central Penn students and alumni, are you looking for your next great internship or job opportunity? The Center for Career Services and Development is partnering with Junior Achievement to give you free access to JA Inspire, a virtual career expo that is running now through June 30th. The exhibit hall features booths for over 60 employers. Each booth includes a description of the company, videos, as well as job openings. You can participate by visiting jascpa.vfairs.com. If you have questions about the career fair, please contact Career Services at centralpenn.edu. And that's something I've seen a lot of employers, Tom, doing lately, is more, of course, still a market for in-person job fairs, but the job fairs are definitely something you're seeing a lot more of virtually as well.
Yes.
So, very interesting. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Cameron Smiley.
Brings Smiley up to the plate. 4-3 Knights lead.
Knights need to try to get some runs back on the board, open up some space again.
It's hard to say if he would bring Hernandez out again. He only pitched an inning and a third, so I'm sure he'd be ready to come back out.
Because we now have a ball game at 4-3.
Of course, you can always go to centralpennknights.com for all the live stats and schedules of all of our athletic teams. Again, we're going to be adding cross country, and we're also going to be adding softball next year. So who knows? We may be out doing some softball games as well. What a rip by Smiley to right field.
Solid textbook single to right field to start the inning. Didn't try to do too much, just nice level swing there and deposit it into right field.
It's going to bring up Jeffrendi Montero, who walked and scored.
Also brings some speed to the base paths.
Randy Montero.
And he's going to bunt. And he's got a lot of speed, and he threw him way off
Errant
the bat.
throw by the pitcher. Allowed him to take advantage of that speed, and now we have 2 on. So if you're managing, what is your approach here? Are you going to try to bunt those runners over?
Zell is too good of a contact hitter. I would let him swing away. Zell, one of our best pure hitters.
Keeping in mind also the potential for the double play. Squares to bunt.
He certainly can bunt. I don't want to take that away from him, but again, the way that Zell plays, I would let him swing. In fact, he was one of our award winners for Rookie of the Year last year.
Lots of room up the middle for him, should he decide to go that way. Drops
He
the
does
bunt,
lay down the bunt.
and lays down an absolute beauty.
I mean, he didn't even have a chance there. Quickly, the bases loaded.
Knights in business now. Nobody out, bases jammed.
Number 33.
And Hoover.
Smiley started off with the single. The bunt single from Montero. The bunt single from Zell. Bases loaded. Back to the top of the order with Zell, and Hoover's
First
hitting
pitch
second.
swinging, foul back. Right back at our athletic director who came up with the ball. Nice work, Case.
Low and away, and I'm starting to begin to wonder how much longer the Penn State Fayette pitcher will stay in this game.
It's tough to see the visiting bullpen from here. I don't think anybody's warming. The 1-1.
Gaynor's pitched well after that first inning, only allowing one run since, but bases loaded, no one out for the heart of the order here for the Knights. Gotta be able to push a run across here, at least one.
After the first batter, he immediately needed to go to the stretch this inning.
Not a call you were going to get in the first or second inning, but it appears that the ump has loosened up his strike zone quite a bit.
Very good pitch calling by Penn State on that one. Hoover was diving out over the plate, was not looking for something up and in.
2 balls and 2 strikes for Gaynor. That's
Came
going
back
to be inside.
again.
Runs the count full.
Full count, nowhere to put him.
I mean, you got to give Hoover the green light here, right?
If it's a strike, he's swinging. Stays alive. Fouled straight back our way.
Four, 3, bases loaded, full count, no outs for Hoover.
Takes a walk.
High and tight, and that will push a run home.
So the Knights get one of those runs right back. Still nobody down, still bases loaded. They've got Penn State Lafayette on the ropes here. Let's see if they can break this open.
Number 14, Zach Boyer.
Let's see what Boyer's up to.
Boyer, a player that would certainly love a big base hit here. His first pitch swinging.
Pulls it foul, first base side, well out of play. Did not hear any windows smash, so we're all good.
Boyer did go 1 for 4 in the first game against Dundalk last week, and 1 for 4 the second game with 3 RBI, so has had a big hit already this season for the Knights.
Takes a pitch up and in, I guess.
I
No
mean,
complaints.
That looked about as good of a pitch that he's probably seen today, but managed to lay off.
Comes the 1-1.
And it's crushed to center.
That's going to get down. That's going to score at least 2 runs. Center fielder has some trouble with it, but first and second baseman are not able to advance.
Montero and Zell come home, and 2 RBI from Boyer.
What a big hit that was, coming through in the clutch.
Number 18, Nathan Wise.
Now we'll see what Wise has cooking. But it appears we might be getting a pitching change.
All right, 7-3 here in the bottom of the 4th. Wise to the plate with first and second after the big Boyer 2 RBI single. And Wise crushes it, just foul.
He could have ran for days.
That's a big corner down there here at FNB Field, and if it somehow lands foul and carries over toward the bullpen, I've seen many triples come out of a scenario exactly like that, but Wise missed it by about a foot. Gaynor's been laboring through this inning. I would imagine either way, this would probably be it for him after this if he can somehow get out of this. Wise coming the other way.
Backdoor breaking ball. He fouls it off behind us. Stay alive.
Seven to 3 here. Knights lead by 4.
Yeah, he seems to maybe be losing it a little bit here. I would assume that a pitching change is imminent.
It looks like they are going to get the bullpen going here. Seeing 3 people running down to the pen from the Fayette dugout. Runners go. They're going to call him safe. The double steal now puts 2 runners in scoring position with nobody out.
Knights are really in business here.
You've got Wise followed by Kaufman. Runners come in for hopefully a play at the plate.
All he has to do is bounce one through the infield here, and he's going to get 2 runs. Easier said than done, of course.
Gaynor really struggling here. Here in the bottom of the 4th. What can Wise do with the 3-2? Walks, the bases loaded.
So, familiar situation, once again, with the bases loaded.
Now batting.
No pitching change.
47, Gabe Kaufman.
So Kaufman will be looking for a mighty big hit.
I guess
First baseman still in on the grass.
to say that I'm surprised that Fayette has not switched pitchers is an understatement at this point. He was already sort of struggling coming into this inning and then still hasn't gotten anyone out and the base is still loaded.
I'm wondering if they're trying to manage the staff for the next game.
Well, that's a very good point. They'll play 2 today and 2 tomorrow, so maybe they're trying to be cognizant of their pitching staff. Of course, there are regulations in USCAA about ability of pitching and number of innings pitched and things like that. Kaufman offers, and he gets the strike. (7-3) here in the first game of a doubleheader. Our officially the earliest game I've ever called, and that's right back up the box. And the shortstop does get one out, but a run does come home.
Looks like the umpires are talking about a potential interference call, but I don't think it's going to happen. Did slide directly into the shortstop. Old school breaking up a double play approach.
Yeah, it's not, especially with the larger bases in the MLB this year. I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of that.
Well, now the Fayette's manager, is now going to converse with the second base umpire.
Miller and then Stevens still haven't put an out up on the scoreboard as of yet.
Not convinced that he would have gotten the runner at first anyway, but that doesn't really impact an interference call.
Miller will step in.
No
Now
call.
batting
8-3
number
lead.
34, Justin Miller.
FNB Field, home of the Harrisburg Senators. Some unbelievable talent has come through here. Bryce Harper and Steven Strasburg, Rendon, Soto, and not to mention a lot of the visiting players that have come in here. It's just, it's such a different perspective when you actually get to know the people who work here, and you know, now we're part of the broadcast team, and kind of get a behind-the-scenes peek of what it takes to put on even quality minor league baseball.
Yes.
Can Gaynor get out of this inning? And the hit and run is on. And the second baseman looks like he's injured himself.
May have rolled an ankle.
Yeah,
That's what that looks like. He looks like he may have rolled his ankle.
he basically tried to plant and throw, and his leg gave out on him. That's never something you like to see.
Nope. He's going to try to walk it off, as they say. I have yet to see him try to rub dirt in it.
Knights score again on that play. Goes to 9-3. So definitely the insurance that was needed, but gosh, at what point do they get Gaynor out of this game? Regardless, Stevens still has a great opportunity here with first and second and only one down.
I do see some stirring in
Now
their
batting
bullpen
number
now.
27, Ryan Stevens.
Well, they've got to make a change at some point soon. Well, let's see if Stevens can hasten that.
Big strike on the outside corner, 0-1. So Gaynor's still throwing strikes at least.
Ready with the 0-1.
And runners go, and to the gap.
This ball is ticketed for the turf.
Looked like Smiley or
Missed third
Yeah,
base.
looks like he Kaufman missed third. Had to go back and touch it because Miller may have been able to score there. But regardless, an RBI for Stevens, hopefully getting out of the funk
Now
that he was
batting
in.
number 23, Cameron Smiley.
And with runners at the corners, the inning continues.
And Smiley started it off with a single and scored a run. And Stevens goes now. Tries to get Miller going back into third. He's called safe.
Heads up play, but Coach Stern was all over that.
It's almost like the Knights, anytime they get an opportunity to steal, are running. And I guess when you're up by 7 runs, it's easier to make that call. But certainly, the Knights' speed is one of their best assets, so obviously got to take advantage of that anytime you possibly can.
Boy, when that sun goes behind a cloud, you can feel it.
Fortunately, that looks like the biggest cloud up there, so we should get some sun back here in a minute. A 6 spot put up for the Knights here in the bottom of the 4th for a 10-3 lead. And Gaynor is just really struggling here. At what point does this become counterproductive, though, leaving somebody out there in this
I'm starting to
situation?
wonder about this myself. It looks like one of the coaches is heading down to the bullpen area.
He's not in much of a hurry, I can say that. I really think they're just trying to get him out of this inning, but now batting around. And he's
Infielders
just
are
not.
drawn in to try to cut the runs down. I guess they're worried about a potential run rule situation here. If the Knights get to 13 runs,
That was something that we do have to deal with.
that would only give Lafayette, what? The top of the 5th.
Basically, yeah. just really struggling to throw strikes here. Does run the count full with that ball.
Feeling this may be his last batter.
I mean, I would have thought that
But
five
yes,
batters ago.
I have thought that as well.
Smiley, the young catcher. And he's going to double him up there, and that is exactly what Gaynor needed to get out of that inning, a double play. But the Knights push across 6 runs, including big RBI singles from Zach Boyer and Ryan Stevens, our senior leaders. And we are now up by a score of 10-3 as we move to the top of the fifth.
Are leading 10-3 against Penn State Fayette.
Central Penn College Student Government Association is a voice for all students, those living on campus, those studying online, and those returning to continue their education. SGA is here to make your time at Central Penn College the best experience possible. You can contact SGA with any questions or comments by emailing sga@centralpenn.edu. Hernandez is back out there. Finke's going to warm him up.
Let's see if he features a healthy pitch mix again this inning. He was very effective when he started mixing in the breaking stuff. Makes that fastball that much more effective when the hitters don't know it's coming.
Hernandez looks like he's going to get a little bit of a leash here.
Well, he's got a comfortable lead to work with now as well.
I will say the one thing about me is I was never a pitcher. I never had that skill set. I was always first base, second base, little catcher, catching stuff on the knees, of course. Really first and second's where I played on the right side of the infield.
Yeah. I played some first base. I was mostly an outfielder.
I just never had the speed to play in the outfield.
Neither did I, but that's where they put you. That's where they put me to keep my bat in the lineup. Because I also used to DH on occasion in Teener League, which figured that out. And then somebody on the field wasn't hitting.
And right through Boyer's legs. That'll be an error. Boyer has had a really tough game at third base. The error quickly gets a runner for Fayette.
That ball was hit pretty hard, right through the wickets. Don't envy anybody who has a line drive off an aluminum bat coming at them.
Sawyer DeAndrea, the second-year catcher from Bethel Park.
Ran that one inside. That sunshine sure feels good.
It feels wonderful for opening day, that's for sure. Drive down the third baseline, but foul. In 3, 2-2 count, no one out here in the top of the fifth. Penn State Fayette trying to mount some type of comeback here. Smiley tries to pick him off back at first, but cannot quite get there. The full count. Can Hernandez close the door here on DeAndrea? Runner goes. That's going to be a shot to left. And that is going to make it first and second with no one out here. There is some movement. 2 pitchers warming up for the Knights. Right out by our Central Penn College sign out in the right field.
Now batting number 18, Cade Warwick.
Warren steps up to the plate. Cade Warwick, the infielder, again last year, 3 home runs and 27 RBIs, the team leader in runs batted in last season. And he sends a shot way out to left. Would have been a home run, just foul.
But foul.
And not really close, but
Definitely put a charge into it, though.
and that could have changed this game very quickly.
He's going to throw him a slider.
And that, there's a shot. No, that'll be out of play. Miller thought he had a read on it.
This place has more foul territory than some major league parks.
Oh,
do.
without a doubt.
I
Not
think it's
as much,
definitely more foul territory here than at Camden Yards.
not as much down the right field line as left, but definitely, certainly larger than most, I would say. That comes straight back.
Sorry about the motion sickness there, folks. It's a solid line drive to left, down for a base hit. Runner's going to try to score. Throw is offline, but comes all the way into the plate. Penn State does have the bases loaded with nobody out here.
Dangerous situation here as
Now back,
Burns comes to the
number
plate.
10, Ethan Redmond.
Excuse me, Rendulic. Burns is on deck. 10 and 11. Rendulic, the freshman from Portview, Pennsylvania. High and tight on the fastball from Hernandez. Again, I think that there's a pretty good chance this will probably be Hernandez's last batter. And that's going to go right to Zell. The scoop to Wise. The throw to first. The double play.
They'll give up a run and take 2 outs gladly.
To Tom's point, it is now 10-4.
Runner on third, but now 2 down in the inning.
Huge double play. Also the second double play from Zell to Wise to Miller. I think we'll probably be hearing quite a bit about that this season, the double play combination.
I think so.
Inside from Hernandez. If you're close, get out here for the second game. At this point, it's probably going to be between 1:30 and 1:45 start. So you still have plenty of time to get here for game 2. Big lead on third.
Appeal. Appeals to the umpire standing in the second base position, which is not exactly the
Ideal situation.
angle that's going to tell you if he went or not.
Andrea's taken a pretty big lead off of third here, and with 2 outs, that makes sense. Runs the count, full does Hernandez. And high, very, very close pitch there, but Hernandez will walk. Burns.
The floating strike zone strikes again.
Iannu's coming up, the outfielder from Plum, Pennsylvania. If you're familiar with, there's a few towns out there. Of course, Cranberry. I actually worked out in Cranberry for quite some time. Back when I was in college, when I went to Slippery Rock University out in Western PA. Actually just reminiscing with the head groundskeeper here. He's also a Slippery Rock graduate. And I got to call my very first baseball game in the opening day of the brand new Jack Crutchfield Park out at Slippery Rock back in 2003. Of course, it's still there and still just as beautiful as the day it was built. But that, I mean, an honor is not even, I can't even put into words what that meant to me to get to do that back in 03. At the time, I don't know if it really registered the same as it would today. We get up there almost every year up to Jack Crutchfield Park. And Wise can't quite come up with that throw.
Very delayed steal. Not really sure. I think they just kind of caught the defense napping there.
Now 2 people in scoring position with 2 down. So Hernandez, the early 3-0 count. Do you just walk him here? I mean, you certainly don't want to put any more people on base, but he gets it. I think Iano was thinking the same thing we were, that was ball 4, but
floating strike zone worked in our favor that time.
The old double clutch there on the bat.
I was waiting for the umpire's hand to go up on that one, too.
Stearns about halfway down out of the dugout.
Now batting number 15, Kyle Ridley.
And Ridley comes to the plate with an awesome opportunity with the bases loaded. Ridley 1 for 2 and scored a run today, and that's way over. Airmailed that, but again, very, very lucky that hit literally off the backstop.
Yeah, it was
bounced right back to him.
Right for my face.
Gainer, 4 innings pitched, 8 hits, and 10 earned runs. Beautiful pitch with some excellent motion.
Spotted just right. Knights really need this out.
Big cut there, runs the count to 1-2. This is something that I would say that McLean was doing earlier, pitching with the count in his favor, that Hernandez just has not been able to do.
Exactly.
And a foul there keeps the count 1-2.
Fastball in on the hands.
Thank you so much for joining us here on the live stream. Looking forward to coming with you all season.
Great
Really
pitch.
Tough cut on that. That will strike out number 15, Kyle Ridley. Hernandez fights through and gets out of that inning with only 1 run. And the Knights go to the bottom of the 5th, leading 10-4. Hey, Knights Nation. Your athletes are in great hands with our athletic trainer, Emily Horn, on the sidelines. The sports medicine team at Select Physical Therapy helps your athlete recover from injury and prevent future injury. With convenient locations nearby, care is never far away. Go to selectphysicaltherapy.com to find a location near you. And trust me, the 2 people that are on the air here with you can tell you a little bit about physical therapy, that's for sure.
Yes.
I've recently had to go to physical therapy for a shoulder issue I've been having, and Tom, you've had some other maladies over the years that have caused you to go to physical therapy. So I think we can speak to the importance of a physical therapist.
Absolutely. Especially as you get older and the old joints start wearing out and the muscles start to atrophy around those joints. It's a scene, man.
We'll be back with you in just a moment.
Now batting number 30, Yafrandi Montero.
Again, very surprised that Gainer back out here for the 5th. And Montero
He's promptly greeted with a base hit.
again, I think to your earlier point, Tom, I think that it has to be the 4 games in 2 days situation that they don't want to take him out.
It has to be.
And now batting, number 11, Owen, Zell.
Zell making a strong case for player of the game here, especially with his defense. So Zell did win the Gold Glove last year. And 2 for 2 with 2 runs scored today. And also 2 pretty incredible double plays that he was a part of.
Yes, he's had a pretty good day.
Definitely, we've talked about Zell a lot. And honestly, I don't know if you've ever gotten the opportunity to meet Owen, one of the nicest kids. Honestly. Super respectful.
I've had Owen as a student before. I will echo those sentiments.
Just a great kid, very, very intelligent, great ball player, loves the game, loves his teammates. Got a bright future ahead of him, that's for sure.
Agreed.
10-4. And the ball gets away from the catcher, and that's an uncontested steal.
Great pitch to run on.
Zell now with the runner in scoring position. Again, the ball gets away from the catcher. In the pitch, high and inside, and Zell will take a walk.
That was one of those pitches that looked like a ball the whole way.
Number 33, Adam Hoover.
So 10-4 Knights. Got a 1-0 count here on Hoover, who steps in looking to bring in those runners. He's got one in scoring position, runner at first, nobody out. And an excellent opportunity to push across some insurance runs. Drops down a bunt, perfectly executed. No one covering first. That's going to bring in a run on some heads-up base running by Montero, which makes it 11-4. Now there's some confusion. And it's 12-4 as Zell slides in under the tag. So it's now a 12-4 ball game. On some heads-up base running and just some general confusion among the defense. That brings up Zach Boyer.
What a turn of events there. That was a pretty incredible play there, Tom.
Some heads-up base running, some riskiness. Now we got a hit by pitch. And now we might be seeing the hook.
I mean, I go back to my earlier discussion that I never really pitched a whole lot when I played organized baseball, but gosh, giving up 12 earned runs and still having some runners on base that he's responsible for, I mean, I appreciate the pitch limits and the number of games they're playing over this weekend, but gosh, I mean, really, he should have gotten out of there in the fourth and even to be allowed to come back out here, and he still hasn't gotten anybody out.
Right. Yeah, he must have reached his pitch limit of about 200 pitches.
We're going to take a quick break while this pitching change happens. We'll be right back from FNB Field. Paul Miller and Tom Davis.
So Fayette has decided to finally go to the bullpen here. We're just allowing some warm-ups here. Again, it's 12-4 Knights. Still playing in the bottom of the 5th inning with nobody out. Runner on first base. And a temperature that is now pushing 50 degrees. In a sun-covered field of beauty here in mid to late March. Plenty of time for you to get out here for game number 2. Of course, there's still time to get out here for the rest of game 1. Unless Mr. Wise has something to say about that.
And now batting, number 18, Nathan Wise.
So Wise steps in. Looking to push across those runners. Swings at a first pitch off speed. Probably sitting fastball, which would have been the wise decision. Another floater. This one's popped straight up, left side in foul territory, and quickly out of room. Lands with a thud in the visiting bleachers. Scoreboard has jumped to 51 degrees within the last 40 seconds. Take advantage of that. Come on out. Next pitch is a curveball. Gets Wise to swing. And that'll be the first out in the inning.
Now batting, number 47, Gabe Kaufman.
So we'll see what Kaufman's up to. Swings and chops the ball up the middle. Takes a wicked hop. They're able to record the force out at second. So 2 outs now in the inning with runners at the corners.
Now batting, number 34, Justin Miller.
That'll bring Justin Miller to the plate. Swings at the pitch. Fouls it straight back.
Steps. 8 more. Never mind, she got it. Don't worry about it.
Pitch misses down and away. One and one count now. Runners takes off for second. Catcher decides to keep the runner close at third. So 2 runners in scoring position. They'll be off on contact. So a single could push across 2 more runs, which would put us in a situation with the run rule being in effect. Swings, and that's going to be... It holds up there just long enough for the center fielder to make the grab. So that will retire the side. Still 12-4 Knights.
Attention baseball fans, just another reminder, any foul balls may be turned in at the concession stand for a free item. As soon as possible, please.
Central Penn's year-round accelerated schedule, composed of 4 11-week terms, enables full-time students to earn a bachelor's degree in just 3 years. Fast-track your
Now
success
pitching for
with
your
our
Central
accelerated
Penn
terms.
Knights, number 15, Wyatt Kozer.
So Kozer comes in to pitch.
And Kozer's one of these exciting freshmen, Tom, that we're really, really looking forward to seeing. So definitely up to him to sort of close this game down here in the final 2 innings as we go to a 12-4 lead for the Knights. Upstairs from Kozer in his first pitch here at FNB Field as the Knights have a comfortable 12-4 lead. You know, I keep talking about this. Oh, and takes it right to the back. Does 33 again. We didn't have a name for him.
Call him Al Bundy.
He wasn't on the roster. In this, I had the opportunity to
Now
talk with
number 13, Braden McKnight.
McKnight steps in. I had the chance to talk with Dalton Kohler yesterday. He actually was over here. We're planning on some new upgrades, I suppose you would say, in our broadcast that you will be seeing here in the next couple of games.
Which is very exciting.
Experimenting with a multiple camera setup. We're going to be adding views on first and third base. Our first 2 contests, we're going to stick to the traditional, but as we continue to get some more time, we're going to be doing that. But anyway, I had the opportunity to talk with Dalton yesterday. He was out here helping me as part of the club. And he was saying that obviously, number one, that of the first couple of games, there were some really tough teams on the road. But that the Knights just made a couple of mistakes, and that really Dundalk, they should have been able to sweep those games. But if you look back to last season, very, very similar script. They got off to a tough start because they played some really, really tough competition on the road early in the year, and but they were able to turn it around once they got to league play.
And they've definitely been getting the big hits today. Where they said, you know, they weren't really getting the clutch hits. They weren't getting the big hits in the situations. Hasn't really been the case today.
Kozer's definitely got some velocity, but he's really struggling to find the plate. A hit batsman and walks Fayette's player on 4 pitches. So looking back at the schedule, Hood College won way back on February 18th, 14-3, and then 5-2 in the second contest, followed by on March 5th to Montgomery County Community College, a 4-0 and an 11-5 loss. 2 at Williamson Trade postponed. They had some snow out there that day. That was actually when the big nor'easter came in, and last week, and a lot of people in northeastern PA actually got quite a bit of snow. Great curveball slider there from Kozer, but again, really struggling to find home plate here. And a shot to center.
Fly ball.
Stevens comes up with it.
Easier fly ball for him that time because it was in front of him. Tough read for the center fielder when the ball's hit right at you. I think that's what happened earlier in the game, which is why that ball was just a little farther than he thought it was. Not this
Now
time.
batting number 16, Sawyer DeAndrea.
So DeAndrea, the catcher, steps in. Really nice crowd out here for opening day. It's a very nice day. And no throw there, the double steal on for Kozer. Now, yes, an 8-run lead, but with only one down, you need your guy to come in here and really close him down.
I have to try to get back on the same page here now. What?
A pitching violation. They're going to add a ball to the count, which sends it to 3-0.
I'm not sure what that violation was.
The second base umpire is also the guy who called the balk earlier,
Yeah.
so he must be a sort of a stickler for those rules, and
I'm
that's
not
just
seeing what rules being enforced there. If there's no clock for a pitch clock, there's no timer here.
potentially him switching back and forth from the stretch to the windup and needing to announce that. But again, that's not something that I'm really familiar with.
Nor am I. I think pretty much you just see that the guy's going from the windup.
And Kozer quickly loads the bases.
But umpires like to feel important too, so.
Now batting number 18, Cade Warwick.
And Warwick skies it to left. And they are going to think better than to tag there, which is probably the right call. Though down 8, maybe you gamble a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, that
I
could
don't
have
think you want to make the last out.
at home with the bases loaded.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was any
Now
deeper,
batting
maybe
number
you think
10,
about it.
Ethan
I mean,
Redley.
the Knights could have pushed that because they're already up by 8 runs, but
Just inside. Kozer really struggling here.
it's almost like he's trying to be too fine.
Well, I mean, in his defense, you know, as a freshman, this is the first time he's ever played here at FNB. There's got to be some nerves on pitching on opening day. I
Most
mean,
certainly.
he's got some velocity, that's for sure. High, though. Really tough pitch, especially when you're struggling to not be able to get a call like that's got to be frustrating.
Yeah.
And way high and tight.
Now, this umpire is a fan of the very, very low strike, but
And again, no lead ever
Now
safe.
batting number 11, Josh Burns.
Burns comes to the plate. Knights just looking for outs.
They only need 4 more. Nice pitch, right down Broadway.
That was some gas on the inside corner.
And Kohler told me yesterday that Kozer is one of the high leverage arms that's going to be in. Probably will start some games, but look for Kozer to come in later in these games. But I'll tell you, if you're going to have better control as a late inning reliever.
Yes.
Quickly to 2 strikes.
Or a very good differential between your fastball and changeup.
And he
Blew that one right by him.
struck him out. And that will retire the side. We're going to go to the top of the 6th inning. with the Knights leading 12-4. Stevens comes to the plate. I wanted to correct it. It is 12-5, and Stevens' first pitch swinging, and this is going to be a tough play, but is made by Fayette. Knights here in the bottom of the sixth just need 3 more outs in the top of the seventh to get out of here with their first victory. At least their first home victory. They're 1-5 coming in. Hopefully, leave the day 3-5. Very impressive showing of situational hitting, decent pitching, good fielding, and great base running here for the Knights. Couple double plays, a couple of errors for the Knights, but all in all, the defense has been pretty good. The base running is really what's impressive here for the Knights. The number of steals that they have had as part of their offensive attack today has been pretty impressive. As we look at the pitchers today, McLean pitched 2 2/3, did walk 4, but struck out 3. Xavier Hernandez came in and pitched 2 1/3 with 4 runs allowed and 2 walks. And Kozer came in, did allow a run, and walked 3, but got out of the inning with only 1 run. So Smiley.
Now batting number 30, Randy Montero.
Smiley walks and does get a pinch runner. For the catchers and pitchers both, if they are hitting, can get pinch runners in USCAA competition. And we have a number 8 out there that is not on the Knights roster. So I'm not quite sure who that is, so for that I apologize. Zell on deck, making a solid case for Nightly News Player of the Game. Upstairs for a ball. Montero has also had an excellent afternoon. Montero 2 for 2 with 3 runs and a walk. So he's had an extraordinary day. Zell also 2 for 2 with 3 runs and a walk. And 2 dynamic double plays. Really just a great all-around effort here. And it looks like a hit and run, and this is going to be a double play. got him on the tag. There was no one covering first, but looks like Nick Fulton over there, number 9. So that's going to do it. That will retire the side. We're going to go to the top of the 7th inning as Kozer comes back out to close this game down and potentially get out of here with a victory. Central Penn's year-round accelerated schedule, composed of 4 11-week terms, enables full-time students to earn a bachelor's degree in 3 years. Fast-track your success with our accelerated terms. Did you know that Central Penn College doesn't charge any type of fee for applying? It's absolutely free. Go to our website, centralpenn.edu, to apply. All right, again, Kozer will come out here for the top of the 7th. Since the Knights lead, all they have to do is get out of this inning with the lead, and the game will be over. They do not need to hit in the bottom of the 7th. And then, like I said, we'll probably take a 20-minute or so break. Let us recharge and get a beverage and use the bathroom, and we will be right back here with you for the second game of this contest. Back here with you, Paul Miller, Tom Davis. Coming into the top of the 7th inning as the Knights lead by 7, 12-5. It's really been sort of an offensive firepower here for the Knights.
Johnny,
When looking at how the runs were scored today, Kaufman with 2 RBIs, Hoover with 3, Boyer with 2, that big 2 bases loaded single that drove in 2. Nathan Wise with 1, Stevens with 1, even Justin Miller chipping in for another 2. So it's really been, a lot of offensive firepower. And here's the irony of all of this, Tom. Mm-hmm. The only starter without a base hit is Justin Miller, and what does he have but 2 RBIs?
Yeah.
So no hits, but the 2 RBIs will certainly take.
So they've all made their contributions today.
Without a doubt. Now, Kozer, again, if you're Coach Stern, I know there's a 7-run cushion here, but Kozer's really struggling to find the plate. Walked 3 batters last inning and walked the bases loaded. They'd only allow 1. He's just sort of all over the strike zone. He's hit a batter. So again, this is where I think Coach Stern feels Kozer's electric and is going to fit well in the closer role, but he's got to throw strikes.
It's probably just a good chance for him to throw some pitches here. Certainly not a save situation or anything like that.
Well, yet.
Of course, he can't pitch himself into his own save situation. But yeah. They definitely want to see him work on this stuff, get that control.
Hope everyone had a safe and happy St. Patrick's Day yesterday. It was interesting because I was outdoors yesterday, and it is exactly what you would think a St. Patrick's Day would be like. A little overcast, a little rainy, and then of course the sun comes out later. And maybe some of you even found a rainbow.
Maybe a few.
4 straight walks, and they're going to go out to the mound here.
Yes, they are.
4 straight balls there and 2 consecutive walks. Now 5 walks for Kozer in an inning.
Yeah, not finding the strike zone. You have to wonder what the coaching solution is. Is this just more time on the practice field? Is this watching film? Is this looking at release points? You have to wonder. Is this a mechanical thing? Is he trying to aim the ball too much?
Now batting, number 33, Connor Vig.
Connor Vig. We finally got the official information on number 33. He was not on Fayette's roster sheet.
Found the strike zone on that one. Looked like a first pitch off speed.
Yeah, that was definitely a changeup. Maybe he's just trying to overthrow it.
That was a breaking ball.
I'll tell you what, if you rewind that pitch, he wasn't even looking at home plate when he went to deliver that ball. And he still threw probably the best pitch of the day.
That was a very nice pitch. Nice late movement. That was another nice pitch movement-wise, but not the result.
And they're going to hold the runner at third. And the bases are loaded.
It's a very good heads-up cutoff by the first baseman there. Because that could have resulted in a run or two.
Appears as if that is going to do it for Kozer. And this is certainly not the appearance that Kozer wanted today. Now, yeah, it's only allowed one run, but he is in charge of the 3 runners on base for Fayette. And now, bases loaded, nobody out. This is where you start getting a little nervous.
Indeed. Again, just looking for outs, though.
And they only need
They
3,
only
Tom.
need 3 outs.
So again, we're going to be here with you for the second game of the doubleheader.
Now pitching for Central Penn Knights, number 13, Colton Zerby.
And Central Penn Knights fans, you'll know Colton Zerby from last season. Colton's pitched in 2 games so far this year, 2.2 innings, and has allowed 2 runs but none earned. So he's got a sterling ERA of 0.0 with a 10.13 strikeout per 9.
Not bad.
So this is definitely, and I remember even last season, Tom, that they used Zerby in a variety of roles, but did close at times. He's almost looks like he's added some velocity since last season as well.
It'd be neat if they had the radar guns working for stuff like this. I wonder if the students ever get to see their numbers.
Yeah, they're actually, I've seen some people with some devices, almost like handheld, almost the size of a cell phone, that take pretty accurate readings. (12-5) here in the top of the 7th. Remember, doubleheaders in college are both 7-inning contests. So really all Zerby needs to do is get 3 outs.
Now batting, number 13, Braden McKnight.
Big strike, first pitch from Colton Zerby.
Fastball down right at the knees. We can assume.
And what can Zerby do here? Outside. 1-1.
It's like the wind has changed directions a little bit. And the sun is out full force.
The irony is that, when we looked at the weather coming in today, it was supposed to be extremely breezy, but right where we're sitting, I barely even feel the wind.
Yeah, we're pretty good down here in the bowl.
And this is a shot to at least get 1. Very poor decision there. You've got to take the out and sacrifice the run. Pulls the catcher off of home, and no outs remain at 12-6.
Forced play right in front of him, but just hurried to throw and pulled the catcher off the bag. Had an opportunity for a double play there. Even. True despot play.
Okay, 12-6 now. Bases still loaded, no one out.
Dotted fastball in the outside corner. Just need a few more of those. Same
And this is
location.
going to be tough. And that is getting down.
But they will have a force play at second.
Well, at least they got an out there. But this game is getting very nervously close here after a very big lead earlier at 12-7. Knights still hold on to a 5-run lead, but still 2 on base. What can Zerby do here? Good pitch.
Good fastball on the inside. They throw good pitches.
I mean,
Just the last hitters have just found some grass.
And that's going to get to
gonna
the
be trouble.
gap as well. And Stevens the throw to third. Another run comes across. And this is part of the issue with what happened with Kozer earlier. Loading the bases with nobody out.
Now batting number 18.
And now we're really getting close.
It's a 4-run game.
So this batter is absolutely crucial.
The tying run is in the on-deck circle.
Now they haven't updated on the scoreboard the out. But there is one out on that forced play at second.
I do believe this would now be considered a save situation with the tying run on deck. Looks like he held on to the ball a little too much there.
1-2, and I'm hoping that somebody's going to update the scoreboard so no one forgets that there's an out here. Just got a piece of that.
Pulled the string on him there.
Paul Miller and Tom Davis here from FNB Field in City Island in Harrisburg, home of the Harrisburg Senators. They'll be starting their season up in a couple of weeks. Come on out, senatorsbaseball.com. Big cut. And that is out number 2.
So the scoreboard says 1 out, but we kind of know that there are 2 outs.
Now batting number 10, Ethan Rendelin.
Well, as we come hopefully to the conclusion of this contest, of course, every single, and that is a shot to left. And a good catch, and that will retire the side, and the Knights get out of here with a 12-8 victory in game number 1. Before we get out of here, as always, every single game we will have our nightly news player of the game. Of course, we will recognize one of the Central Penn Knights athletes every single game, win or lose. And today, I'm going to go with Owen Zell. Owen Zell had a wonderful game on both sides of the ball, both in the field for last year's Gold Glove winner and at the plate, as well as scoring 3 runs on top of that. So congrats go out to Owen Zell.
He really made a lot of things happen today in a lot of different ways.
And Tom, game 2, I'll leave that up to you. So that's your task for game number 2, is to find us the nightly news player of the game. I'm going with Owen Zell
And that
here in
concludes
game
the
1.
first game of today's doubleheader. Central Penn Knights take home the win over Penn State Fayette, 12-8.
All right, well, that's going to do it for our broadcast here. So for Paul Miller, Tom Davis, and the Nightly News Media Club, we'll see you back here in about 20 minutes or so. Keep staying tuned here to the live stream for the Nightly News.